Tonight, President Trump speaking to the nation in prime time in his first address to Congress since taking back the White House. The president set to defend the trade war exploding at this hour, the stock market plunging again today, his tariffs on Mexico and Canada now in place, prices in the U.S. likely to rise, those two countries vowing to retaliate. Justin Trudeau calling Trump's tariffs, quote, dumb. Also tonight, the president expected to tout his immigration crackdown and his administration's reshaping of the federal workforce led by Elon Musk, who will be there tonight. We have new details on the other special guests Trump is invited to attend and how Democrats plan to push back. Pushing for peace, Ukrainian President Zelensky desperately trying to revive talks with the U.S. What he is now saying about his confrontation with Trump in the Oval Office last week, and the new development tonight on that crucial mineral deal as Russia ramps up its attacks in Ukraine. Plus, southern storm threat back here at home, parts of Louisiana and Mississippi under tornado watches after two twisters ripped through Oklahoma. A dust storm in Dallas, look at that, cutting off visibility on the roads, and New Orleans shortening Mardi Gras celebrations as dangerous winds bear down. Bill Cairns standing by. Juvenile gladiator fights. Dozens of guards at a juvenile detention center in California charged with child abuse for allowing gladiator-style fights between the minors inside. And high-risk rescue, the hero charging into floodwaters to save a woman trapped in her car, how he got her to safety. And ahead of tonight's address, we take a look at the official who introduces the commander-in-chief with those iconic words, Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States. Top story starts right now. Hey, good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Top Story, live from Washington, D.C., where tonight President Trump will make the first primetime address to Congress of his second term. You are looking live tonight at pictures of Capitol Hill, where in just 2 hours, President Trump will address lawmakers, distinguished guests, and an audience of tens of millions at home. Tonight, the world will be watching what Trump says about the trade war he ignited just this morning, slapping 25% tariffs on two of our nation's biggest trading partners, Mexico and Canada. That move sending the stock market into a nosedive. The Dow, you can see it here, plunging 670 points, and the S&P dropping by more than 1%, just one day after its worst session of the year so far. And the targets of those tariffs are fighting back. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promising retaliatory tariffs, calling Trump's move, quote, dumb, and saying Canada will not back down from a fight. Tonight's speech also comes just days after that explosive confrontation, you'll remember, with another ally, Ukrainian President Zelensky. Last night, President Trump cutting off military aid to the war-torn nation, a move officials there say will cost Ukrainian lives. But tonight, Zelensky is trying to reset talks with President Trump, insisting he is ready for peace with that rare earth minerals deal between the two nations still hanging in the balance. There are developments there tonight. The commander-in-chief also expected to tout an immigration crackdown that has stretched from coast to coast with tens of thousands of arrests and a drop in border crossings year over year. And he'll detail Elon Musk's efforts to dramatically reshape the federal government, including cutting billions in spending and firing thousands of workers. Our Peter Alexander has been following the preps for Trump's high-stakes address and leads off our coverage from the White House.
Tonight, President Trump, the sequel, set to address both Congress and the country for the first time in his second term. Tonight's theme, the White House says, the renewal of the American dream, with the president already making a sales pitch for his first 6 weeks.
So we're setting a lot of records. I think every way we're setting records.
President Trump, aides say, will tout his pledge to be a peacemaker. It comes as Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky now says he's ready to sign that minerals agreement designed to help the U.S. recoup billions of dollars in American aid, which is seen as a first step in an eventual peace deal with Russia. Zelensky posting, I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. Those comments coming just hours after President Trump suspended military aid to Ukraine, a major policy reversal while the war is still raging, and criticized Zelensky for saying a peace deal is, quote, still very, very far away. A White House official telling NBC News the pause allows a review to ensure the aid is contributing to a solution to the conflict.
You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards.
It follows that disastrous Oval Office meeting. Zelensky today posting it did not go the way it was supposed to, adding it is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. But the president's decision to pause aid is sparking bipartisan criticism.
This is preposterous. It is laughable. It is childish. And it is embarrassing for Donald Trump.
We'll see how the president deals with it in his speech tonight. But a prolonged cessation of support for Ukraine, I think, is a disaster.
President Trump tonight is also expected to tout progress on key campaign promises, including securing the border. Under President Biden, in each of the last 3 Februaries, migrant crossings soared past 150,000 each month. But this February, under President Trump, those migrant crossings plummeted to just 8,300, the lowest number in at least 25 years.
We've gone from the worst border ever in history to the strongest border.
Then there's the president's Department of Government Efficiency, with Elon Musk set to attend tonight.
DOGE is a threat to the bureaucracy. It's the first threat to the bureaucracy.
But Democrats have slammed the rapid cost cutting and plan to bring fired federal workers as their guests.
What is the State of the Union, we ask? Chaos is up, corruption is up, and costs are up for regular people.
A lot has changed in 5 years. President Trump's last address came before COVID, with Speaker Nancy Pelosi over his shoulder ripping up his speech. But tonight, there's a Republican speaker and a different vice president.
He's going to talk about a lot of the successes that we've had. He's also going to be himself, which means he's going to poke a little fun, and we're going to have a good time.
All right, Peter Alexander joins us tonight from the White House. So, Peter, let's go back to that news you reported on the Ukraine minerals deal. Do we know how the White House is reacting to the Ukrainians seeming to now be on board?
Yeah, Tom, even before we heard from President Zelensky of Ukraine earlier today, we heard from the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, on Capitol Hill, saying that he still remained optimistic, as did the president, that they could come to a deal with the Ukrainians on this issue of the rare earth minerals, a way for the U.S. to try to recoup some of the tens of billions of dollars that it spent in support of Ukraine. Vance saying, among other things, that they have heard some positive things from the Ukrainian, but they needed some real private engagement going forward. We're trying to get any better understanding of how soon that engagement took place and will take place in real terms.
And then, Peter, as we get closer and closer to this speech, during these events, the president invites certain guests and in many ways alludes to them in the audience to discuss a larger point. Do we know anything about who is invited tonight?
Yeah, a lot of it is about the theatrics, certainly in a Donald Trump speech of a night like this. Among those who will be attending, we're told Mark Fogel, who's released from Russia. President Trump recently negotiated. The family of Corey Comparator, that is the Pennsylvania firefighter who you'll remember was killed in last summer's assassination attempt on President Trump. And Peyton McNabb, she's a former high school athlete who suffered serious injuries, a traumatic brain injury, in fact, after a transgender woman spiked a volleyball that hit her in the face during a girls' match. Tom?
Okay. Peter Alexander, we thank you for that, leading us off tonight. For more of what we can expect tonight, I want to bring in the moderator of Meet the Press, Kristen Welker. Kristen, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
I know you have a lot of new reporting on this, but tell our viewers, how is the president going to juggle handling what's in the headlines, right? What's dominating the headlines? Ukraine, but also the stock market and tariffs.
Well, he's got a lot to juggle. You're absolutely right. He is going in tonight, Tom, with approval ratings that higher than where he was at this point in his first term, lower than where most presidents were at this point. And we know that he's had this flurry of activity. He signed a record number of executive orders, and yet he is facing headwinds. The economy, a majority of people say he should be focusing more on bringing down prices, and then all of that uncertainty on the world stage. So the challenge for him is to convince Americans, yes, I just imposed these new tariffs. Prices are going to come down, even though economists say that's not the case. And ultimately, we are going to get a deal for peace on Ukraine. Remember, that was a key campaign promise, Tom.
Going back to prices, right?
Yes.
Eggs are up. Inflation is still stubborn. Now with these tariffs, we're going to be asked to maybe pay more for certain things like cars and gas. At his core, the president is a master promoter, marketer, salesman. How does he make that pitch to the American people tonight who have been paying high prices for more than 4 years now?
His big argument, Tom, and I have asked him about this directly, is that these other countries are taking advantage of the United States, that there's a flow of illegal drugs, fentanyl coming across the border. It's worth noting that when we're talking about Canada, we're talking about a very minimal amount of fentanyl. And of course, immigration, one of his big issues. he will argue this is going to stop them from taking advantage of the United States. He'll argue in the long run, prices will come down. The other countries are going to pay for these tariffs. The challenge with that, these other countries have already imposed retaliatory tariffs. And so we expect to see prices go up. Economists of all stripes have said that's what happens when you impose tariffs. But he has privately said to lawmakers, Tom, that he's going to be able to deal with the messaging. He wants them to focus on the policies, getting his bill passed through Congress that would fund his mass deportation plan, that would slash taxes. He believes that if all of these things happen at once, ultimately prices will come down.
There is no doubt that President Trump has a hold on the Republican Party. He is the leader. On the Democratic side, though, it's a different story. It's still unclear. And tonight, Americans are going to be hearing from Michigan's new senator, Elisa Slotkin, right? And she's a Democratic senator, but she's coming from a state that Trump won. Explain why Democrats chose her.
She is such a fascinating choice, Tom, for this evening. As you say, she won in the swing state of Michigan, the state that Trump won back from Democrats. And so she was a real bright spot in the election for Democrats. She's also a former CIA officer. So I am told she's going to lean heavily into her background. She's going to take direct aim, for example, at that meeting in the Oval Office that became explosive between the president and President Zelensky, and talk about why that's potentially a national security issue in the long term. She's going to draw on her background while also talking about focusing on the economy. Here's what I'm curious to see, Tom. Democrats have to some extent been in the wilderness politically, and when it comes to messaging, will she be able to write the first draft of what their political playbook will look like moving forward? That's going to be one of the big questions.
Sometimes can be very tough. Sometimes they can make for great SNL material, too.
It's worth noting she's going to be in the Metro Detroit area. They've thought a lot about the background. Right. It's an area that she won and that Trump also won. There's no mistakes there. All right, Kristen Welker, we look forward to all the coverage. We thank you for being here. As we mentioned, it was another rough day for Wall Street. Those new tariffs on Mexico and Canada and China, and Mexico and Canada, I should say, went into effect. NBC's Christine Romans has more on what this means for American consumers.
Only hours after President Trump's tariffs on America's three biggest trading partners kicked in, rattling the markets and escalating fears of a global trade war, the administration appeared to ease off.
And the president's listening because, you know, he's very, very fair and very reasonable. So I think he's going to work something out with them. It's not going to be a pause, none of that pause stuff. But I think he's going to figure out, you do more and I'll meet you in the middle some way.
Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick earlier in the day defended new tariffs, saying they are not inflationary.
This is not a trade war, right? This is a drug war.
Insisting that Trump's 20% tariffs on China and 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada are about fentanyl coming into the U.S.
Let's look at the facts. Our border is already safe and secure. Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tearing into President Trump.
It's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal. But Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
Mexico's president today vowing retaliation. China and Canada now targeting tens of billions in American farm goods with tariffs of their own. Wall Street on edge as companies brace for a trade war. Shipping giant Maersk warned it will cost more to move goods. Insurance leader Progressive sees higher insurance rates as cars get more expensive. Best Buy said vendors would pass on higher prices for electronics. And Target CEO had this warning on the prices of fruits and vegetables coming from Mexico.
The consumer will likely see price increases over the next couple of days. If there's a 25% tariff, those prices will go up.
All right, Christine joins us tonight live from New York. So, Christine, as much as you laid out there are people in parts of the country, the Northeast and the Midwest, that may actually see a spike in gas prices as well because of the oil imported from Canada?
Yeah, this Alberta crude that is actually, you've got U.S. refineries designed to refine this exact kind of crude into gasoline, is driven in cars on U.S. roads. And the White House has actually put 10% tariffs on that crude, acknowledging how important it is. But indeed, you've got a forecast there that right away you could see gas prices start to rise if those tariffs on Alberta crude last too long.
Christine Romans for us. Christine, we thank you for that. For more on what we can expect to hear from President Trump tonight in his joint address to Congress, I want to bring in House Majority Whip, Representative Tom Emmer of Minnesota, who joins us tonight from the Capitol. Representative, thanks so much for joining Top Story. My first question to you is, what are you looking forward to hearing from the president tonight, and will this speech be unifying?
I believe it will be, and I think the theme is going to be about promises made, promises kept. I mean, in the first 43 days of his administration, Donald Trump has been delivering on what 77 million Americans voted for. They wanted to see somebody start fighting on their behalf, downsizing government or right-sizing government, rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, sealing our southern border, and getting things moving. Donald Trump's been doing that about as fast as you can. And then I think he's going to talk about renewing the American dream. And ushering in the golden age of America. I do think it's going to be a forward-looking vision of a country that the vast majority of Americans voted for back in November. 77 million Americans voted for Donald Trump, and he's going to deliver.
Congressman, you know, you just said it. Promises made, promises kept. And that includes tariffs, right? And the president is steadfast in those tariffs with Mexico and China. He said you could feel some pain in the beginning. We are likely to feel some of that pain. How do you think he's going to address that and explain that to voters tonight?
It's about free trade, but fair trade, right? When you've got reciprocal trade issues where our friends, our trade partners, have been taking significant advantage of our markets while at the same time denying some of the best producers in the world, which are in the U.S., denying them access to their markets. Donald Trump made this clear during the campaign. He's following through on it now. Tariffs are a tool that he uses. And I would just caution our friends who are out there who think that this is a back and forth. Donald Trump told the American people that he was going to fight for them and make sure that it was fair. If they want to retaliate, they just want to defend the unfairness. I think Americans are going to support Donald Trump even more as he tries to fight through this to make sure that we are treated fairly around the globe.
Congressman, NBC News is reporting tonight that the chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee told lawmakers today that they should stop holding town halls after multiple instances of lawmakers being berated. I'm sure you've seen some of these videos. Have you heard concerns from any of your own constituents related to DOGE and cuts to the federal workforce?
Actually, what I'm hearing from my constituents is they're excited. They are so happy that literally Donald Trump has tasked Elon Musk and others with rooting out the waste, fraud, and abuse. And the more that they find, the more that they show to the country. My constituents are overwhelmingly in favor. And when it comes to town halls, the advice that we give is you do what you believe is right. Our members know how to relate to their constituents. They didn't get here without doing the customer service that's necessary, and they'll continue to do that.
Congressman, are you doing any town halls? Do you have any planned?
I do. I do town halls all the time. I haven't done any so far this year, but yeah, we have some that are going to be on the books.
All right, let's turn to Ukraine now. You were one of the biggest supporters for aid to Ukraine. I know a conservative group gave you an A rating. What is your take on what's happening right now, the pause in military aid to Ukraine?
I do support the aid to Ukraine. I believe the mission was to stop Putin. But here you've got a president, Joe Biden, who was there for 4 years, and his thought was just throw money at the problem. When were we going to get it resolved? Now you got Donald Trump, who literally is the peacemaker. He is working with both sides, and I think he's also encouraging Europe to get off the bench, get into the game, and understand this is their backyard, and they got to start taking care of it at the level that should be necessary. It shouldn't be the U.S. always taking care of that issue. I do think that President Zelensky's public statement this morning was the one he probably should have given when he was in the White House last week. It shows that he's ready to sit down and have a discussion. Look, Donald Trump just wants peace. I think the world would want peace at the same time.
Do you have a message for the men and women on the front lines there in this war in Ukraine? Will military aid from the U.S. flow again into Ukraine soon?
I think what President Zelensky did this morning is going to go a long way towards getting President Trump and his administration engaged. not just making sure that they have the investments that are necessary for their own defense and protection, but more importantly, so that they can sit down at the table and see what is achievable in terms of resolving this conflict, so we can start ending the needless loss, tragic loss of life that war has created.
Congressman Tom Emmer, we thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, let's get the other perspective now from Democratic Representative Jim Himes from Connecticut. Representative Himes, thanks so much for joining Top Story. What are you hearing from your constituents? What are they most concerned about?
Well, Tom, I heard the interview with Tom Emmer. I'm a little dizzy from the spin. Let's talk facts. The market in 2 days is down 1,200 points. Every American ought to open up their 401k statement and see what just happened. And by the way, the tariffs haven't even kicked in yet. Wait till Americans arrive at the auto dealer and discover that the car that they were going to buy last month is now $2,000 more expensive. Eggs are more expensive. Groceries are more expensive. Thousands of federal employees who are keeping, viruses out of our meat. Our community health centers. My guest tonight is a CEO of a community health center that is serving some of the most challenged people in our communities. Look at the facts. My constituents are saying President Trump is disassembling the United States of America. And forget the spin. Look at your 401k statement. Talk to your local hospital. Talk to your local community health center, and you'll get the truth.
Representative, the president is likely to make the argument tonight. His argument, I want to make that very clear, that it's going to be tough in the short term, but this is going to be better for the country in the long term by bringing back manufacturing jobs, by empowering workers across the country. Do you disagree with that?
Don't take it from me. Look at the announcement today by the people who follow the auto industry, who say that Ford and GM and all of the auto companies are going to dial back their production by 30%. Forget about me. I'm in a room here that is dizzying because of the amount of spin here. The auto industry is going to dial back their production by 30%. That's going to hurt people in Youngstown, Ohio. It's going to hurt people around this country. So, I have no doubt that the president is going to tout everything that he's done. Forget what he says. Look at your 401k statement. Talk to the CEO of your local hospital or community health center. Talk to people who understand that Medicaid is responsible for grandma being in that assisted living facility when grandma's assets run out. That's where you'll find truth.
Congressman, I know we're probably going to hear about DOGE, government efficiency, possibly Elon Musk. We understand he's going to be there tonight. What issues do you have with DOGE? I think many Americans will say they want government to be more efficient. What is DOGE getting wrong, in your opinion?
I'm one of those Americans. I would have been so excited to join Elon Musk and the DOGE effort to say, let's turn our government into a 21st century efficient, razor sharp operation. And you know how you do that? You find the areas that are, not producing, that are, still regulating buggy whips or whatever it might be. And you say, we don't need to do that stuff anymore. And I'm sorry, hard decision, but you need to move on and find a different job. Instead, what Elon Musk is doing is firing probationary employees. These probationary employees are our youngest, most energetic. In my world, in the intelligence world, these are the people who speak Chinese. These are people who can do cryptography. And he's just saying, and by the way, and the other thing he's doing is he's lying about it. Look at what DOGE said that they did. They had to take down their top five supposedly axed programs of waste, fraud, and abuse. Again, it's just I would have been so happy to join into an effort to make the federal government more efficient. I can't tell you how angry it makes me that it takes me 15 years to get a bridge built in Fairfield County, Connecticut. I would have been so happy to join this effort. But instead, look, all I'll do is refer you to the photograph of a, dark glasses, ketamine-addled guy with a chainsaw. That's who's making these decisions. And it just, what it could have been versus what it is just beyond painful.
Congressman Himes, we thank you for joining Top Story.
Thank you.
We heard from two American lawmakers just now, so let's hear from a Ukrainian lawmaker as well. Alexei Goncharenko joins us tonight from Ukraine. We thank you so much for joining Top Story. You've been critical of how Zelensky dealt with President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance's attacks in the Oval Office and called for him to apologize. Do you think what he's tweeted today is enough to repair any damage done?
I hope so. We need America to get back and to be on board to supporting Ukraine. And for us, it means without American support, thousands of people will die, maybe tens of thousands. So everything which needed to be done to repair this and to get America back on board should be done.
How long can Ukraine survive, if you will? We know your brave men and women are on the front lines. They're fighting against Russia. But how long can they survive while this military aid is paused? If you can sort of put it into perspective of how quickly they need this aid to flow back into the country.
Nobody will say you absolutely precisely, but it's not too long from one point of view. It can be long. I mean, Ukraine fought itself at the beginning of Russian full-scale invasion, and we stopped Russians, and that was very important. Today, it's very difficult for us, so it means what exactly will be stopped. Today, it's a physical stuff which is stopped, but if intelligence sharing will be stopped, it will mean that we will feel the consequences immediately, and that will change a lot.
What is your understanding of the mineral deal? There is reporting tonight that the Ukrainians have signed off on it, or at least are willing to make the deal.
We are willing to make a deal. We want to work together with the United States. United States is our ally number one, and I'm sure that we are on the same page. We need to stop tyrant Putin. We need to fight for international law and international order. Also, hundreds, really like a lot of money is invested by the United States in Ukraine. And I'm sure President Trump doesn't want his own Afghanistan, where all American taxpayers' money will go to rebels and where United States will lose. President Trump wants to be a winner. Ukraine is ready to be part of his winning story, but we need his support and we need his efforts as a peacemaker.
You've also called on European leaders to go beyond issuing statements of support for Ukraine. What would you like to see them do?
Yeah, because, you know, we hear a lot of statements, and that is very important, and I'm thankful for this. But you can't destroy Russian tank with a statement. You can't intercept Russian missile by a post in social media. So we need something concrete. Unfortunately, Europe still is more speaking than delivering. That is not good. I hope our colleagues in Europe, our friends and allies in Europe, they will deliver more. But at the moment, I'm sure that we need United States if we really want to have a result.
Alexei Goncharenko, a member of parliament from Ukraine, we thank you for joining our special coverage tonight. All right, still coming up tonight, tornado warnings at Mardi Gras. New Orleans pressing on with the iconic celebration as severe winds bear down. Millions under alert across the south with more winter weather on the way. And parliamentary brawl. Lawmakers in Serbia setting off smoke bombs, fighting with police. What caused this wild scene? Stay with us on this special edition of Top Story, live from D.C. We are back now with the dangerous storms on the move. Millions of people bracing for heavy rain, high winds, and even possible tornadoes. That includes New Orleans, where massive crowds are celebrating Mardi Gras. Jesse Kirsch is there.
Tonight, the potentially dangerous storms are bearing down on tens of millions of Americans.
Possible funnel cloud right in front of me.
From the upper Midwest to the deep South.
This is moving fast. If you were under that tornado warning, you need to be in your shelter now.
Everything from blizzard whiteouts to tornadoes are possible.
I mean, it just went right through here.
At least 2 twisters already confirmed in Oklahoma, with dust storms blowing over parts of Texas. Hundreds of thousands of power outages reported, and Dallas-Fort Worth Airport temporarily grounded all flights. Outside Dallas, these small airplanes tossed around. Meanwhile, several homes and buildings were damaged.
I was scared. I mean, I just said the prayer. I just said, God, don't let any of us get killed.
The dangerous storm sweeping across the South on Fat Tuesday, jeopardizing massive Mardi Gras celebrations. New Orleans still held its major parades this morning, but cut the event short. Despite the ominous forecast, tens of thousands still line the streets.
We gonna always come outside. We're not about to stop. We're not stopping nothing. We're gonna still party.
In all, roughly 15 million people are at risk of severe weather. Roughly 16 million people are under winter alerts that include some blizzard warnings. And roughly 70 million people face red flag fire warnings. Meanwhile, tomorrow brings little relief as this stretch of severe weather keeps marching across the country.
And back here in the Big Easy, wind gusts starting to pick up here along Bourbon Street. And even though we are expecting heavy rains, potentially damaging winds, and also potentially even tornadoes tonight, thousands of people are flocking to Bourbon Street. Meanwhile, this city, New Orleans, and cities across the country are bracing for a rough night ahead. Tom?
Jesse Kirsch at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Jesse, we thank you for that. For more on the severe weather on the move, let's get right to the forecast with NBC meteorologist Bill Cairns. And Bill, just last night you were telling us about that massive storm. How's it looking tonight?
Everything that we thought. We're getting severe weather. We got a blizzard. We got a big, huge dust storm and, horrible fire situation in Texas tonight. But we're mostly focused on the severe weather and the chance of any additional tornadoes. That's the immediate threat. And we've had about 154 severe weather reports. We've had 3 tornadoes, 2 in Oklahoma, 1 in Texas. The Dallas area, 50,000 people without power this morning from all of the severe winds that moved through the region. So as we go throughout the night tonight, New Orleans, we're going to watch the storms exiting your area. They're going to plow through areas of Alabama and Georgia. Tomorrow, they're going to intensify again, especially in the Carolinas. On the eastern seaboard, we're going to have a period of severe weather. New York City, strong gusty winds, heavy downpours around 5 o'clock. Washington, D.C., right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then that storm exits. Behind it, typically windy and kind of cold. So let's go through the elements of that were of concern. First, severe weather. The remainder of the evening, if we get any severe storms, likely pushing out of Mississippi into Alabama and the panhandle of Florida. We haven't had any big tornadoes. We don't look like we're going to. Maybe something isolated will be about it. Then tomorrow, wind damage threat on the East Coast, especially in the Carolinas. And then how about the winter storm? It was 60s today in areas like Kansas City and Des Moines and Omaha. You're under blizzard warnings. Tonight, the temperatures plummet. Winds are going to gust to 50 to 70 miles per hour, and you're going to get inches of snow. Now, it's not a huge, big snowstorm, but when you have 70-mile-per-hour winds, it just makes it like a whiteout. It's blinding. So the roads are going to be extremely treacherous. Some areas in southern Minnesota and eastern and western portions of Iowa could get up to about 6 inches. And then the other thing that we're watching closely, Tom, we have a brush fire south of San Antonio. They're calling for evacuations. We have wind gusts in the area up to 30 miles per hour. So a lot of dangerous stuff still with the storm the rest of the night.
All right, we'll keep our eye on that brush fire and Texas. We thank Bill for that. Let's turn back to our coverage of President Trump's joint address to Congress. For a look at the night ahead, let's bring in our political pros. Mike Dubke is a former White House communications director for President Trump. And Tara Setmeyer is a Republican turned independent and co-founder of the Seneca Project, a super PAC that endorsed Kamala Harris in 2024. We thank you both for being here. Mike, I'm going to start with you. So I think the theme of the speech tonight is the renewal of the American dream. I think it's fair to say that President Trump's honeymoon period is maybe over, right? He's going to have to talk to the Americans, explain what's happening in Ukraine, talk about tariffs, and sell the fact that prices may be high for a little longer. How does he do it?
Well, I think 42 days is a really short honeymoon. So I'm not sure I agree with you that his honeymoon is over.
Well, I'll give you this. His numbers, his poll numbers, they're almost even. They're almost even now. He was up 8 to 10 points. Right. Right before the election, and now right after the election, I should say, and now he's about even, and that's where that comes from.
No, and you were interviewing dizzy Democrats as before we came on here. Look, I think tonight he is really going to double down. What Tom Emmer said about about promises made, promises kept is where he's going to go. What Donald Trump likes to do is to really take on those issues that people think are detriments to him and prove to them that they're not. And I think we'll see a lot of that in the speech today. So. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to him being very energetic on stage.
Justin Trudeau has called these tariffs, quote, dumb. That news probably has reached the president. We don't know. We may know tonight. He's had a very public back and forth with the president of Ukraine. Tara, how do you think he addresses those issues tonight?
Well, I think he's going to be who he is. He's shown us who he is many times, and I think there's going to be a certain petulance. He's more emboldened than ever before. And the fact that he continues to disrespect our Canadian brethren north of us, and he called Trudeau Governor Trudeau, this constant drumbeat of we're going to take over Canada, it's going to be the 51st state. I mean, it's insulting. Since when has a president of the United States and an administration joked about going after a sovereign country? I mean, it's Canada. They're our neighbors. This trade war is asinine. It's going to hurt the American people. It's going to hurt our farmers. The American people right now, promises made, promises kept. I'm not quite sure that the people who voted for Donald Trump thinking that he was going to miraculously bring prices down, like the price of eggs, and all of these things, were expecting that they were going to indiscriminately decapitate our federal government and put thousands of our veterans out of work, hurting our farmers because of canceling indiscriminately programs that actually benefit our farmers, you know, destroy American goodwill overseas. I don't think that's what the American people voted for. So tonight, we're going to see Donald Trump try to gaslight everyone into believing that what's happening, this chaos, the pain that's being inflicted on the American people, is actually somehow good for us. Good luck with that.
For some independents and Democrats, that's the counter argument. Mike, what is the president going to say?
Well, I don't think he's viewing it as gaslighting. I think he's going to talk about when we talk about promises made, promises kept. I think we'll look at the border. Immigration is one aspect of this, where we're at a 25-year low in terms of crossings at the southern border. I think he's going to make the argument that tariffs, you've got to give them time, that they will eventually work out for the American people. And on investments, and that's one thing that we really haven't talked about. There's been a lot of investments in this country, and job creation is where he's going to turn around the economy. But to your point on inflation and eggs and milk and all of that, I do think that that's one area where he is going to have to explain to the American people why that hasn't happened yet, where he's made all of this progress. But where are we on one major issue, and that's inflation?
Tara, you know, Democrats, they might be at a loss on how to fight President Trump. And I say that because, one, there is no clear leader of the party right now. Yeah. And two, he doesn't have to run for re-election. Correct. He can say whatever he wants over the next 4 years, and he knows he doesn't have to run again. I mean, he obviously probably cares about the Republican Party. He cares about his principles. But how do the Democrats combat that?
Well, I would argue that Donald Trump has no principles except for himself. So there's that. I don't think he cares about anything but his own self-preservation. For Democrats, I think that there is a challenge here. It's been difficult to really mount a unified resistance because I think so many people were shell-shocked by the amount of destruction that Donald Trump has inflicted on the country. A lot of us try to warn folks, but, you know, lack of imagination can be very dangerous. We warned people. They gave the playbook of Project 2025 of what they would do. Schedule F was real. So I don't know how long it's going to take for folks to actually believe what he says. But for Democrats, I think they're finally starting to get some energy by seeing the American people actually going to town halls and speaking up and voicing their concerns to their elected officials, saying this is not what we wanted, including in red districts. I think that that's giving Democrats some ammunition to unify around what messaging is working for them. But they really need to show some fire in the belly. I was a Republican for 27 years. They need to learn how to fight like Republicans.
Mike, is not having to run for re-election the president's superpower, or is it temptation to be reckless?
Oh, I think it's a superpower in the sense. But look, this is a Donald Trump that really has a unified government. Unlike, even though we had a unified government in 2017, with Republicans in the House and in the Senate, there still was a bit. I remember back in 2017, that speech that he gave, his first joint address, it was more about unity. It was more of a backlash to the inaugural address that many people thought was dark. We're going to see the exact opposite this year.
You don't think he's going to go for unity?
I don't think he's going to go for unity. I think he's going to double down on the things that he campaigned on, and he's going to say, this is why I believe this is right for the American people.
What do you hope to hear from Senator Slotkin tonight?
I think that she was an excellent choice. First of all, giving the rebuttal is the worst job in Washington next to being vice president. It's the toughest thing ever. But she is an excellent choice. She's from the intelligence community. She comes from an important state, a swing state, and she's a real person, knows how to speak in real language. And I think her communication skills are exactly what the Democrats need for this type of rebuttal. I hope that she talks about the actual facts of the pain being inflicted on average Americans, and that she combats a lot of the lies and gaslighting that we're going to hear from Donald Trump, because he doesn't know how to be anything but reckless. And that's probably what we're going to see again tonight.
Tara and Mike, thank you for having a civil discussion tonight here on Top Story. I do appreciate it. Coming up next, officers at a juvenile detention center accused of staging gladiator-style fights. Some of the officers seen on video standing by as the teens brawl. Prosecutors alleging the officers acted like referees at a prize fight instead of stepping in. The charges 30 of those officers now face. Welcome back. We have a troubling headline out of Los Angeles tonight. 30 officers accused of staging gladiator-style fights inside a juvenile detention facility for children and teens as young as 12. Video of one of the fights shared widely, pushing authorities to investigate the conditions inside that facility. NBC's Steve Patterson has the video and this report.
Tonight, 30 Los Angeles County officers charged, accused of staging what prosecutors are calling gladiator fights inside a juvenile detention center. After video of one of those fights, first obtained and published by the LA Times last year, helped trigger an investigation.
The officers look more like referees or audience members at a prize fight, not adults, charged with the care and supervision of young people.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta says that was just one of at least 69 fights at Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall in the second half of 2023.
We're talking about vulnerable youth, 143 teenagers between the ages of 12 and 18.
The juvenile hall houses youth awaiting trial for serious charges, including robbery and murder. Parents of one of the teens, speaking with NBC Los Angeles, horrified at the footage.
Oh, no.
They say the guards appear to do nothing to help, even appearing to shake hands with one of the boys who hit him.
A space and a time was created for the fights, and their plan was for the fights to happen and for them to stand by as they occurred and not intervene.
The 30 officers charged could face 2 to 6 years in state prison for child abuse if found guilty, according to an indictment unsealed Monday. The president of the union representing the officers said in part in a statement, "Every American is innocent until proven guilty. Our members are entitled to the same presumption of innocence and deserve to be treated with fairness and due process, just as they provide to those in their custody." The county's probation department, which runs the jail, said in a statement all the defendants have been placed on unpaid leave.
This is just additional trauma added on to whatever they've already experienced.
Advocates for juveniles detained at Los Padrinos say the atmosphere of violence is harmful.
They're going to need therapy. They're going to need treatment. They're going to need a level of care that's necessary to help them come back to normalcy.
And that follows a pattern of understaffing and problems at the facility. Last month, we spoke to Steven, who spent time at Los Padrinos for charges that include assault with a deadly weapon.
I have seen a lot of things that a normal 13-year-old isn't supposed to see.
Now 21, he's been in and out of the system since he was 13.
When you think back to your time there, what feeling do you feel?
Just desperation to get out. Like I felt like they were just treated like animals.
Steve Patterson joins us tonight from Los Angeles. Steve, you've been following what's happening at this juvenile hall. You've spoken to people who were detained there, the guards who worked there. There have been a host of issues from these fights to understaffing, all types of things. What changes are people calling for, at least right now, for conditions to improve?
Yeah, Tom, we can start with Sam Lewis in that piece from the Recidivism Coalition. He said he would like to see more community members allowed in the facility, mentoring and counseling, something that's, of course, echoed by an official we spoke to from the DOJ earlier this year, Liz Ryan, who says that juvenile systems across the country too closely mirror our prison systems. Meanwhile, a judge is still weighing a request to just shut down the facility entirely. Tom?
Steve Patterson out of Los Angeles tonight. Steve, we thank you for that. Time now for Top Stories Global Watch and a check of what else is happening around the world. We start with the chaos in Serbia's parliament as anti-corruption protests continue to sweep the nation. New video shows lawmakers letting off smoke grenades inside the parliament's chambers in support of demonstrators outside the building. Physical fights breaking out between security guards and legislators. Look at that. Protests have been ongoing in Serbia since November when a train station collapse killed 15 people. Many blame the tragedy on government corruption. More than 4,000 people under evacuation orders in Japan as the country faces its biggest wildfire in 3 decades. Firefighters struggling to contain a blaze that has been raging through the northern city of Ufunaru for a week. Officials saying the fire has spread to more than 6,000 acres of land. So far, at least one person has been killed. And a dramatic rescue in Spain's Canary Islands as torrential rains batter the region. Check out this video. It shows raging floodwaters sweeping vehicles downstream. A woman trapped in the red car. Watch this when a stranger runs towards the rushing water to help her open the car door and escape. Both of them somehow making it out safely. Heavy rains are expected to continue in the region throughout the week. Okay, now to an update on those 2 astronauts stuck in space. Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore speaking from the International Space Station today as they finally prepare to come home about 9 months longer than expected. NBC's Emily Aketa has the details.
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Speaking out from space,
We are ready.
NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore now closing in on their long-awaited return to Earth.
And we'll be coming home, riding the plasma, splashing down in the ocean, so that's what we're looking forward to.
Alongside astronaut Nick Hague, who arrived on a different mission, the group is expected to swap out with a new crew and return home this month, nearly 300 days later than Williams and Wilmore initially planned.
What has been the most challenging aspect about the changing timeline in space?
Hey, thanks, Emily, for that question, because immediately it brings to mind family and all the people on the ground who support us.
Their unexpectedly long stay, complicated by technical problems, has captured widespread attention and concern. President Trump suggesting they were virtually abandoned in space by the Biden administration, but the astronauts insist they're not stuck, steering clear of politicizing their time in orbit.
From my standpoint, politics is not playing into this at all. We came up prepared to stay long, even though we planned to stay short. That's what we do in human spaceflight.
The veteran astronauts have kept busy at the International Space Station with hundreds of experiments, 3D printing, and spacewalks. Williams even setting a record for the most spacewalk time by a woman, a staggering 62 hours and 6 minutes. And while the pair is excited to soon embrace their family, friends, and pups, their sense of wonder brighter than ever.
Hey, we're going to the moon and Mars. That's what my plan is.
I'll be right beside Butch if that's the case.
Emily Ikeda, NBC News.
When we come back, the man who will announce President Trump in just about an hour, the House Sergeant at Arms, the person who introduces the presidents for each State of the Union or address to joint session of Congress. So who are they and what is their job the rest of the year? We'll tell you. That's next. Finally tonight, from here in Washington, overlooking the U.S. Capitol, as we prepare for President Trump's joint address to Congress. You may not have heard of the House Sergeant at Arms, but he has a very important role on nights like tonight and one iconic line you can't miss.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
These simple 8 words, bellowing through the House of Representatives, have marked the start of the president's big night for decades.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
The House Sergeant at Arms tasked with formally announcing the president's arrival at each State of the Union or address to joint sessions of Congress.
Mr. Speaker.
Making that legendary proclamation tonight for a 3rd time, William McFarland, carrying on a tradition that dates back to the mid-90s.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Before then, the job fell to the doorkeeper of the House, a position eliminated by Speaker Newt Gingrich in 1996, leaving the time-honored task to the Sergeant at Arms, an otherwise little-known elected security official charged with protecting members of Congress and enforcing protocol.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Bill Livingood was the first Sergeant at Arms thrust into the spotlight.
The President of the United States.
He was part of history again in 2007.
Madam Speaker.
For Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
The President of the United States.
In 2021, William Walker became the first black Sergeant at Arms when he introduced President Joe Biden.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
His predecessor, Paul Irving, introduced the president for 9 years.
The President of the United States!
His booming voice catching the attention of former President Barack Obama.
You know what never gets old? Is when you're standing there and they say, Mr. Speaker. That never gets old.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States!
And we look forward to hearing that Sergeant at Arms in about an hour. Thanks so much for watching Top Story. Hallie Jackson joins me in just a moment for our special coverage of President Trump's joint address to Congress, which starts right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.